We do have over 110,000 associates. As she mentioned, we did open our first Sam's Club not very far from here in Midwest City, Oklahoma in 1983. We have almost 700 locations, as Kelly said. We're a $57 billion company, and what's more important is we're the fourth largest food retailer in the United States. The one thing to think about inside of Sam's Club is it's a paid warehouse. I mean, our members pay to shop there. So when you think about the assortment that we need to have, it's a limited assortment business that we do. Why is that? Because it's mostly a pallet-driven organization or a warehouse. Hence, that's why Perry, we call it a warehouse club. So again, as you take a look at that, we're nearing 700 locations and a pretty big force, Kristen, when you think about the fourth largest food retailer. A little bit about who our member is. Get the right clicker here. There we go. So I said our members pay to shop, and we have two different members. If you're not aware, we have a business member and we have a savings member as well. So two different clientele that we merchandise our products towards. And when you think about the savings member, it's a person like me that normally just has a home, has family. So I'm looking for my needs for my home or for my outdoor activities. Our business member is our member that definitely has their business needs. So whether that's in the janitorial, whether that's in the paper categories, whatever it may be in their SIC, or whatever their business is. So they come to Sam's Club counting on those items that they need in their business. And then what we really love about our business members, so if you look at the diamonds there, you can see a blue and a green diamond there. And the overlap of the diamonds is a little bit darker blue. That's what we call our sweet spot. And essentially, that's our business members that also buy not only for their business, but also our great savings members. So they're buying both for the business, and they're also buying for their personal needs. So you can see some of the attributes of who our members are, above household income. They love to shop, very family-oriented. What does that mean? They spend a lot of money with us when it comes to those activities, those celebrations, those holidays on the calendar, those stock up, those build up type activities. Very traditional, but we can't leave out that they are also very price conscious. So again, some of the things our members are looking from Sam's Club. This is why they want to shop at Sam's Club. The price. The bulk, when you buy in bulk, they expect to have that price. They expect that price break. Excitement. Heard a lot about a couple of the other speakers talk about differentiation. Our members do not just expect to come in and see the same product over and over and over again. They want to see excitement going on inside of the warehouse club. At Sam's Club, we have demos. Many of you probably have partaken in some of our demos. That's another way to create some excitement inside of our buildings. The member also is allowed to taste what the product looks like, or taste what the product tastes like, what that flavor profile is. So when you think about bulk, again, you're asking me to buy a product in bulk, so those demos help create that excitement, help create some nuance. And then they're always looking for quality. So a little bit about our strategy. So you can see what's important to the member. I just went through those. Those are the top pillars on the top there. And then the green bars are what are we doing from a merchandise standpoint. What is our focus point and what are we providing to the member? Again, you can see that commitment to price leadership. Bill talked a little bit about making sure that you have that lowest cost, you have that lowest price. Again, this is important because when you think about commitment to price leadership, what I say earlier, they pay to shop. They don't pay to shop to get higher prices. They pay to shop to have that lower price, that exciting, that new. And again, the second pillar is that merchandise differentiation. I pay to shop at Sam's Club, so you're giving me the new, the cutting edge quicker. You're showing me something different. You're creating that excitement not only through demos, but you're also creating that excitement through the merchandise. And again, I'll talk a little bit about differentiation as we go forward. And then that preferred member experience. Again, there's a lot of different things inside of our club that we can do to create the experience. I've talked a lot about demos, but there's also difference inside of our packaging. There's also events and different things that we can do to help create that experience. When you all base it back to our members pay to shop, so they expect a different experience than most of our retail competition out there. And then the bottom line is our enablers. So how do we enable this strategy? And you can see the one in the center is that holistic merchants. So our merchants are definitely looking and working together to figure out, do I need social media on this? Heard, that talked about a lot today already. What about online? Or what about the packaging? We have a holistic approach to making sure that we're enabling those green pillars, and a lot of that comes through our holistic merchants. And then there's lots of capabilities that we're enabling. You heard some of those talked about packaging and different attributes that you can do to get your product on the shelf. We've enabled a lot of those things at Sam's Club and Walmart. So differentiation seems to be that buzzword that you hear out there, or innovative, seems to be the new words out there. And this is how Sam's Club is looking at differentiation. So think about what's important to the member. If she will not pay for it, does it make a difference? No. Always keeping that member in the center of why would they want this? Will they pay for it? Does it make a difference? So again, incorporating an important and valuable point of difference is defined by the Sam's Club member. Is it easily understood or demonstrated? I heard the individual talk about there's not as many people out in the stores. Labor is expensive. It's a big drain upon the P&L sometimes. But the product needs to stand by itself. So does the package demonstrate what she expects? Or is it cumbersome and bulky? Does it make sense? And then the question of differentiated against who? And as you can see there, all the other channels in which the members shop. But keep in mind, differentiation is not defined so much by Rita or Stephen. It's defined by our members, the member that we're trying to put the attributes to, or the member that is shopping with Sam's Club. So to break it down just a little bit more as far as looking at differentiation, and this is what our merchandising strategy has focused a lot on, and we've talked to a lot of suppliers. Charles Redfield, our Executive Vice President of Merchandising, has showed this slide numerous times, Stephen, to several different meetings that we've had on campus. And these are the main attributes that we look at to break down what does differentiation look like. And it's that price. We've talked about that a lot already. It's that quality. Our members, again, pay to shop. Innovation. What's new? What's cutting edge? What's wow? Where'd you get that at? I bought it at Sam's Club. That's what the member wants to be able to say. We're still a brand warehouse. Newness. So what's new out there? What makes it new? Heard the last couple of speakers talk about, is it just a different iteration of something that's already out there, or is it really new? Packaging. Again, we've talked about packaging, and several of the other speakers have talked about packaging as well. Packaging, the member picks it up, they read, they try to understand what makes this so special. Or how do I understand what chia seeds do for me? Or what does some of these ancient grains or some of these other attributes, what does that mean? And if you can't get that across, they may have picked it up, but they're going to put it down and walk away and be confused. So those attributes, or what's on the packaging, or how the packaging comes for that product, is very critical. And as several of the speakers before me have spoke about, we do have people at both Sam's and Walmart that can help with that packaging. Services, again, we have several services, key services around health and wellness. We have some services inside of what I manage, like I said, with the demos. And then the product features. Again, there's just lots of things to look at from a differentiation standpoint. And do all of them have to be the big thing you focus on? No, it depends on what the item is. It depends on how you're approaching it. It depends on what your angle is, or what your product is, or how you're trying to go to market. One may be a little more important than the other. So again, this is what our members are definitely looking for as they pay to shop inside of Sam's Club. So just to kind of sum it up, and then I'll let Stephen come up and talk about what do we do inside of showcase events at Sam's Club. Pretty simple as far as you look at our business model, and I apologize that the wheel didn't come across as well as it should have. It's pretty simple EDLP model that we've always had at Sam's and Walmart, and I see several people out here that I recognize, so I know you know this model, and essentially it is, we keep our costs low, what we buy the product for, we're able to sell to our members for less. We have a membership warehouse, which then attracts the member base, which then drives volume, and it just creates a wheel of if we're buying for less, we're selling for less, we're putting the members inside of the building, and we're driving volume and traffic. And then 6 rights of merchandising, just to kind of sum up some of our differentiation that we've talked about or some of our strategy, is it's simply 6 rights of merchandising. And I've heard several individuals, again, talking about that, making sure you're at the right time. So when you think about what's the right merchandise, so do you have a Me Too, or is it something different? Is it something the member is looking for? Is it something she's willing to pay for? Do you have the right price? If you don't have the right price, guess what? Inventory is going to back up, and you may have got it on the shelf, but it's not going to pan out the way we wanted it to. Is it the right time? If you're trying to bring a snow shovel in June, does it make sense? Well, no, not unless you're having, it's winter in June, and et cetera. So it's got to always be that right time. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves. We bring something in way too early, and people are not ready for it. Shratza, do they understand it? Sometimes we bring it in too early, and the member's not ready for it. Quality. If it doesn't have the quality, the member's going to vote no all day long. All day long. Quantity. Make sure we have the right quantity. Again, that's that predictive analytics that we need to make sure, because if it sells out, we don't have that right quantity, we disappoint our members. And then the right place. So where does it really belong? Does it belong in dry grocery? Does it belong in fresh? I think about bacon in Sam's Club, and we have it in several different locations. Is it in the cooler? Is it in expanded fresh? Where does it really need to be? So where's that right place? So that's a little bit about our merchandising strategy that we have at Sam's Club, and kind of the key focus that our group is looking at and working towards. But I want to bring up Stephen Holman, and he'll talk a little bit more about showcase events and what does that look like inside of Sam's Club, and maybe what you can do to bring your product to life. Stephen?
Thank you. We're going to the right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. How's everybody doing today? Yeah. Just to kind of get a gauge of our audience, who all is a Sam's member here? Who's not a Sam's member? There's one right across the street. So after this meeting, you probably need to go there and sign up. As a buyer, that's one of the first questions I ask. If you're a member of our club. If you're not a member, you may not know our strategy. You may not know what we do every day. So it's good for you guys to go in there and understand what we do. See our product. There's different product in every club. Just a thought, from my mentality, when I go into a meeting with somebody, a member or not. If you are, that's great. We appreciate your business. If not, what we do, we've heard talk about big business. We talked about Sam's being over a $50 billion business. That's big numbers. It's sometimes hard to even comprehend on what we do. So what I'm going to explain a little bit about what Showcase Events is and how we can bring the bigness into a small round. And we can test and get you on the shelf. We can test certain things. We can really understand your product, let you get better at what you do. Okay? We say yes to everything. So we're going to say no. We're probably going to say no more than we say yes. Inline is going to be, it's going in and out. Inline is always going to do something a little bit different or more about wow and excitement. So I'm going to tell you what a showcase event. You probably heard them as road shows before. So it may refer back and forth to that both times. So unexpected relevant merchandise. We walk into Sam's Club, you see a road show. Can you hear me? Okay. We're looking at something you're not really ever going to see. You walk in there and you go, wow, I didn't expect to see that. It's a great price. It's theater. It's engaging. The people there that are doing the event are going to engage you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to explain the products that need explanation. So it's can't with an explanation that's really hard to read. Because when you walk by a pallet, you've got to learn in about 15 seconds what that product is. So it's up to us to be able to explain that to you, engage you, and hopefully let you know why you're buying it and you'll be happy with your purchase. They're limited time, so they're in and out of clubs. They're not in all clubs. They're in certain sections of the country. They could be 11-day show. They could be a 30-day show as a seasonal event. They could be 45-day. tailgating season's a long season, so put something in there for 11 days. We take advantage of a 30 or 45-day season. It's a consignment model, so it is about, it's up to you guys to get the product in. You guys get paid for what sells and scans to the register. But you get paid faster payment within 7 days. And then your product goes out, it goes to another, and you get into a location. It could be in Dallas, it could be in Houston, it could be in... Okay, is that better? Okay. So it is consignment, and it is in and out, and it is for you to get it in and out of the building. We have resources that can help you with the execution, that can get it in and out of the building. We have several companies that we can partner with you with to do that. They can help you with displays, they can help you with staffing, they can help you with execution, they can help you with a lot of those different components of that. It's a really good testing ground for inline. When you go to an inline buyer, they're going to ask you, what are your sales? Where have you sold? What are your numbers? If you've already done this in some road shows, you say, I was in 10 clubs and we did $1,000 per pallet per week. That's going to give you credibility right now. Our inline buyers, they don't take as many risks as they probably should, but if we can eliminate some risk for them, that's our job. So that's what we're there to do, is help them do that. We're in step all the way from the time you come in and you bring me a product up until I will run this by inline, so they're step in step with just about everything we do these days. When you get through with the show, we can give results. Not everything will go in line. Food probably has a 20 to 30% chance. GM probably has less than a 10. But when you do get that item in line, it's a very successful item. There's canopies in line, the little pull wagon were road shows, fishing shirts were road shows. So there's a lot of products in there that are started out as road shows. That's one of the mainstays of our clubs right now. We are targeting affluent members for our road shows. We're trying to raise price points. We're not looking for as seen on TV stuff. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. There is a market for that, and they do really well. But in our particular program, we're looking at items that are a little bit more affluent, that are a little bit more brand name, and I'm going to show you some pictures, because people love pictures, and pictures are easy to describe and give you a good idea of what we're doing and where we're going, and maybe something that you may have seen or that you have the capability to produce. So, excitement generator, that's what we're here to do. You've got 3D printing. So you come in, you get your face scan, you can get your face on the body of Iron Man, Black Widow, or Captain America. Kind of cool, neat. It's out in front of technology right now. Takes you about 15 minutes. They ship you the figurine, and it's all printed 100% 3D. So it's excitement. It's cool. You don't expect to see it. It's not in all clubs. It could be in grand openings. It could be in just a pocket full of clubs.
And Stephen, on that one, we've seen a lot of parents bring in their children, and again, that's part of that excitement that we can create at Sam's Club, and our members just love it.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool event. Higher price points. Anybody play the piano in here? Anybody like to save 10 grand on a baby grand piano? You can in a road show at Yamaha. We buy a Yamaha piano. So you're buying the brand name, you're saving about 10 grand, 20 to 30% depending on what model you have. But you go in there, a guy's playing the piano, you don't expect to see it. You know, you're not always in the market for a piano, but if you are there, it can save you some money, and it's just one of those things, it's excitement. It draws excitement when you see those in the club. Scarcity. We did some shows not too long ago called a treasure hunt. We had some 150-year-old balsamic vinegar. We had about 10 bottles of them. It was $600 a bottle. We sold a few of them, but in the meantime, we sold a lot of the $40 and $50 balsamic vinegars that were 50 years old. So it's about scarcity. You couldn't Google it. You couldn't price check it. You couldn't do anything. It's one of those things you stumble in. It's a treasure hunt. And we paired it with vanilla ice cream, which you think is weird, but it's really, really good.
But that becomes that differentiation. When you think about those words that I went through, that's different, because when you walk in a Sam's Club and you see this, I mean, we had several individuals wanting to buy that as Christmas gifts for their friends because it's just something different. It's something that's just not mainstream that you see every day.
Tortuga rum cakes. Those are kind of a Caribbean down in the islands. We brought them up to Atlanta, Georgia, and I think we sold 5,000 of those in a matter of a few weeks. Really amazing Tortuga rum cake. So you probably wouldn't think of buying a rum cake in Atlanta, but we found them in Miami, brought them up here, and they were phenomenal. Reminds people of the islands, really, really tasty. We're looking for some branded stuff. We did some partnership with some categories in line. You know, we had sunglasses, the Gucci, Ray-Ban, Prada, Coach. We're looking for some stuff like that. Some of those brands won't sell directly to us, but some brands will. So we're looking for people out there to bring us this stuff and have an agreement with them. And maybe your stuff is a brand, and maybe you're trying to get it to be a brand. But that's how we can help you, is to get people to recognize it, because you got to tell your story all the time. Items on trend, Himalayan salt block. Anybody ever cooked on a Himalayan salt block yet on their grill? No, you need to go buy one. It's about 5 pounds, sits on your grill, and it has 84 minerals. It's all good for you. It's all natural. It's a lot better than your table salt. It's better than sea salt. So it's very, very mineral. So just on trend right now. This trend will probably end in 6 months, maybe a year, but we're on trend and maybe a little bit ahead of the trend. Treasure hunt. Quality stuff. Anybody been sucked into the Vitamix blender yet at a Sam's Club? See a hand over there? Yep. So they're wanting to engage with a lifestyle. And you get it. It's the best blender on the market you can buy. It's a $500 blender we're selling. It's better than the one in Williams-Sonoma. So that's another thing. We're looking for quality items, something you can stand behind, something that's going to be there for the rest of your life.
Hey, Stephen, before you go on the Vitamix, I think one of the things to look at here is, Vitamix is something you've heard for a long time, but I think tell a story about how you're working with Ryan Lamone, the inline buyer, and with the partnership here, because I think that's worthwhile is show the transition from showcase events into the inline.
Yeah, because we started with the Vitamix blender. They started in road shows, and actually a couple of our colleagues are here too. I think Kristen started this. And we'd had Vitamix blenders for a long time. Inline was interested in the blender, so they brought in another blender, and it didn't sell very well. It's a $400 blender sitting on the shelf. So what we did, we went and talked to Vitamix and said, what do you guys need? They said, well, we'd like to have more sales, we'd like to have more shows, and we'd like to have some .com placement. So what we did, we talked to them, we have a different blender in road shows. Inline has agreed to take them later in the year on the shelf, and .com has an offering on .com. So we've got 3 tiers of this going on. So when Vitamix goes in, they sit there and they tell their name, they tell their story, they sell their blender. And oh, by the way, we have one on the shelf. Or if you don't see the color you want, you don't see the accessories you want, you don't see the cookbook you want, you can go on to samsclub.com and you can get that as well.
And Stephen, that's that holistic merchant that we mentioned as part of our enablers to our merchandise strategy.
Yeah, so that's when we all 5 of us went up to Vitamix headquarters. We all sit down. So it's a cohesive approach, and everybody knows what everybody's doing. And it's at the end of the day, we all get one check, and that's what it's there for. We're all there together. Pac-Man machines over in Bentonville Club. If you need one, they're $2,500. Some of us grew up playing Pac-Man machine, so if you need one, they're over there. So it's just different. You don't expect to see it. There's only about 10 or 15 of them, and they're gone. So it's one of those things. You buy it now. We create that sense of urgency to buy. Indulgent. How many people have pets? So how about yogurt-flavored gourmet dog treats that are like $15 for a set of 3 of them you can take to your pet, and they're human-grade food. So that's just gourmet stuff you wouldn't expect to find. You find that in specialty dog bakeries. There are a few stores around here and around the country, but that's what we're looking for, is something that's just different. Custom insoles. I have foot problems. There's probably other people who have foot problems, but we can save you $150 on a set of custom insoles that your foot file is 3D scanned. It's uploaded telemedicine to a doctor who reviews it, and then they mail you your insoles that fit your feet, and it helps your orthotics. If you've ever had that problem, it's a big deal, but we can save you almost 50% of what you would go to your doctor for, and it is approved by a doctor. Vegetable juice, fruit and vegetable juice. I don't like vegetables. My team cracks me up all the time because I don't eat vegetables at all. But when you mix it with fruit, if you have purple carrots, it doesn't sound that good. But when you mix it with mango juice or orange juice, it's amazing. So we found this called Raw Juices. It's probably one of the better items we had. It tastes like fruit juice. You get all your veggies, so it's something different again. That's just you don't expect to find. Member relevant items. You're going to hear that term quite a bit probably in the future about what Sam's is doing, but it's MRI for short. So it's Club of the Community items that are around the clubs that they're in the area they are, in the geography. So Pawleys Island, the South Carolina-based pimento cheese. So we all eat pimento cheese. This one was based in South Carolina. Couldn't keep this in stock when we did it. They replenished every day. I think we ended up selling probably 40 or 50,000 units of this in a couple months. And they were just in a few clubs. So they resonate with the member. That's the members who shop there. They understand it. Like, oh yeah, I know them. That's right down the street. So it's relevant to our members in that club. Jim and Laura's caramel apples. They're in Texas. They sell 500 3-packs of caramel apples in a weekend. So that's a local item. They resonate with the community. It's neat. It's different. You're not going to see candied apples in our bakery, pecan-filled items in our bakery. So that's just another wow, indulgent, exciting product that you come in. Seasonal items. That's what I talked about earlier. So we have some pottery made in Mexico. We don't really carry Mexican pottery in the club. This lady's a woman-owned, diverse business. She does a great job. The pottery is some of the best pottery I've seen. It's a price point. It's not a really, really high price point, but it's in, the $50 to $90 range, depending on which price point you get. But it's relevant. It's seasonal. Everybody's looking for planning right now. You go in there, and it takes up sometimes about 10 pallet spaces, and they sell through, and they have some amazing sales. Tailgate season, we do all sorts of different tailgate, but we're different than what Inline does. Inline carries a canopy and a cooler and maybe one or two other things. We're going to carry the other things. We're going to carry maybe a tent side that goes with the canopy. We're going to carry a bag that hopefully is on trend with the chevron pattern. Chevron's really hot right now, so you get your favorite team color. So we're really kind of going after the mom rather than just the dad on licensed merchandise, because there's just as many women tailgating as there is men. So it's really a lot of fun doing that stuff. Billy, your item. Is it next? I don't know. The best thing we can do is share our contact with you. Let us have some conversations with you. Bring us an item. But if you say no, it's not saying no to your company. It's saying no to that item. Everybody should have another item in their back pocket. Or if you get into the road shows, you should have another item 6 months from now, a year from now. Things are competitive out there. The landscape's very competitive. You've got to be looking always around the corner, going ahead, planning your business. You guys ought to be knowing a year, 2 years, 3 years from now what you're doing. So in mid-June, we're going to be doing what's called a merchandise review or open call. We really haven't done or determined the final name for it, but we want suppliers to come to us and say, here's an item. Pitch us items. That's what we're looking for. That's what we need. We need a pipeline of 500, 1,000 items that we're constantly churning, testing. We have 650 buildings. We can do small shows, we can do big shows, but we're just looking for the next coolest thing. I'm not looking for another paper clip or a chip clip. What I'm looking for are some of the examples I shared you up there.